this morning I had an ad get a consulting firm booked. They're in Nelspruit, and they're booked on my calendar now for Saturday. I've got a few other client calls today, and I noticed something pretty wholesome in the comments on that ad, and that was that someone from my past commented a message of support on that ad. And that person I first worked for when I was 17, and I worked for them for about 3.5 years as a waiter during college. And he's a restaurant owner. He's owned his restaurant for, I think, 25, 30 years. Awesome guy, like an Italian dad. And he was just commenting a message of support, which I really appreciated. And that same ad also booked me a consultation. So it was like 2 wins in one morning. And in that ad, I specifically spoke about how to stand out as a fractional CFO, how to stand out as a auditor, how to stand out as a independent reviewer. So if you offer a financial service that is premium and you've got a target industry that you're after, maybe you're after construction or engineering or manufacturing, maybe you're after retail or agriculture. South Africa has got a very large market, but the problem is that we're many years behind the developed markets that we see in the US and the UK. And we've got a lot of inefficiencies in our market, a lot of delay, a lot of lag. And this is one of the major reasons why our economy is not strong. I know a lot of people blame it on corruption or taxation or exporting and not doing enough importing maybe, or job creation. But I believe that our market is inefficient because we struggle as a nation at communicating to one another about our products and services. And this is something that America does very well because they are majority English speaking. And it's something that China does very well because their majority are Chinese, Mandarin, right? Is they're really good at communicating their products and services to one another. And that facilitates an incredible rate of economic exchange, of money passing hands. So I want to speak to you a bit about what I spoke about in that ad and why it's relevant for you growing your firm this year and onwards. How to stand out as a fractional CFO in South Africa. And this is what we're going to be focusing on today, is that people do not buy price, they buy people. And a bit of a personal story here was when I first started my business and I was busy scouting for an accountant because I knew that we would need help with tax and compliance. I got 2 quotes. I got a quote from a outsourced CFO and I got a quote from a accounting firm. And the accounting firm gave me a quote that was approximately 60% less in price than the fractional CFO. But I chose the fractional CFO. Why is that? Well, number 1, they had really good reviews. Number 2, they were very active on LinkedIn and Facebook. And number 3, I enjoyed their personality and I connected with them. And it's a common mistake that a lot of firms make. I've spoken to over 200 firms and I've worked with over 30 firms by now and 30 business owners in this industry, financial services, right? And the mistake that I see is that they think it's all about price. But I want you to shift your attention from price to people and from price to payoff. And what I mean by that is people do not choose you based on your price. They choose you based on the payoff. So what is the return on this? And the people. Who am I going to be working with? Do I trust them? Do I resonate with them? Do I connect with them? Do I respect them? Do I admire them? Are they friendly? Are they polite? Are they on time? Are they cordial? And it's the same thing with payoff. What is payoff? So if you came to me and you said, hey Ben, I've got 100 Rand, okay? And I said, look, If you give me 100 Rand, I can give you 200 Rand. That's a pretty decent payoff. But now what if I said, hey, I can't do anything for 100 Rand. My minimum price is 500 Rand, but instead of going from 100 to 200, I can help you go from 500 to 5,000. So the payoff is 10 times instead of 2 times. Now what your first objection is going to be is, okay, but how can I trust that you can get that result? And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you hundreds of reviews, case studies, testimonials. I'm going to show you my YouTube channel, my LinkedIn, my Facebook. I'm going to show you my client dashboard. I'm going to show you some of my content and you can connect with who I am as a person. So this is exactly how you stand out, right? Is instead of focusing on price, instead of focusing on being a commodity, I need you to focus on people and payoff. Those are the better P's to focus on instead of price. Is people and payoff. And once you're focusing on people and payoff, you become premium and you become profitable. And that's what we all want. Is we want an easy way to be premium, profitable by working with good people and by getting them an incredible payoff. And that is how you go from being a commodity, charging small retainers and being unable to differentiate, to being the go-to person in your market, being the person that is sought after. And I've consulted this one lawyer that comes to mind who has 20,000 followers on Instagram, and she posts very simple Instagram reels that are targeted towards high income individuals, and she helps them with wealth allocation and wealth investments, things like moving your wealth abroad, whether it's property or investments or retirement accounts or trusts, right? And people trust her because she is consistent. She shows up, she shows her face. And you cannot be this accountant or this fractional CFO who continually hides behind these flyer looking ads. You cannot be an accountant who has a LinkedIn post and you've got no profile photo, or your website is disabled. I had someone reach out to me on LinkedIn. They didn't have a profile photo. Okay. They didn't have a website that was active. When I searched their website, it was just blank. And then when I searched their business on Google, they did have some reviews and a business location, but it still looked very suspicious. So I reached out to them on WhatsApp, and their profile photo was a fictional character from a TV show. It's like, how is anyone going to take your... If you want to differentiate yourself, you need to become a person. You need to become a real human being. And we see this in the music industry, right? You might be saying to me, Ben, but accounting is accounting. Everyone just chooses accounting, compliance. They select it as if it's a pasta on a menu and they want to go for the cheapest price. But that is absolute BS, and I'm going to tell you why. Saying that accounting is accounting is like saying movies are movies or music is music. Everyone has a different taste. Everyone's got a different taste. Some people like Rihanna. Some people like Justin Bieber. Some people like Eminem or Kanye West or Black Eyed Peas. Some people like rock, metal, techno, DJs, house music. Everyone has different tastes, and it's the same for music, or the same for movies. There was that whole meme about the Oppenheimer and Barbie release, where some people were like, oh, are you going to go watch the Barbie movie, or are you going to go watch the Oppenheimer movie? There's different demographics and psychographics on this planet. Different people resonate with different people. And to think that you are just a movie instead of a type of movie, a type of category that is sought after, you're shooting yourself in the foot. And what's awesome, and I want to inspire some hope in you here, is that when you put out content that is valuable and helpful, the right people will come to you. I've attracted incredible business owners through a small YouTube channel just like this one. Look, it's tiny. At the time of recording this video, I've got 8 subscribers, but I've made tens of thousands of rands through 8 subscribers because they are all business owners. Heck, I've probably made about 50 grand just from 8 subscribers. That is insane. If you told me that like 2 years ago, I would have been like, that doesn't make sense. You need thousands of subscribers. But it's just about putting the right message in front of the right person at the right time. And the only way that you're going to get consistent at doing that is by putting your face out there and posting content. And I started getting serious about this YouTube channel when I spoke to another marketing agency based in the Netherlands, and he offers services similar to mine, but in the US market. And he's doing well. He's a great guy, Dutch guy. For my Afrikaners out there, he's like Afrikaner, basically. And he was adamant about YouTube. You know, he's got 400, 500 subscribers, which is a lot bigger than my channel. And I'm confident he's made a lot more money through his YouTube than I have, and his LinkedIn. So I felt late to the party. So I'm getting after it. And I need you to do the same, because it's kind of like planting seeds. It's literally a game of planting seeds. And the sooner you want to eat, the sooner you need to get to planting. But you need to be patient, because you're going to plant that seed, you're going to water that garden, you're going to take out the pests, you're going to give it sunlight, you're going to give it nutrients, and day by day it's going to grow stems and leaves, and eventually it will fruit. And once it fruits, they will ripen. And once they ripen, you can feed yourself and your family. But there is a delayed process. There is a lag between planting that seed and getting food, right, for you and your family, getting wealth, getting money. So put your face out there, put your name out there. You can't just hide behind a laptop. You can't just hide behind a computer. If you are a professional service, if you are a financial service, right, people buy on trust, especially if you're an accountant or a fractional CFO or an auditor or an independent reviewer. You are getting into their books, okay? It's a relationship. You're diving into their numbers. It's deeply personal. And to think that you can just run ads and people will automatically trust you and you're automatically going to close deals, you are being delusional. People are going to click on your ad, then they're going to search your name, they're going to search your business, and if nothing comes up, they are not going to show to the meeting. And if they show to your meeting, they are not going to buy from you, or they're going to take multiple meetings to buy from you, or they're going to say, I need to think about it, or they're going to say, hey, I think I should do this months from now. You're struggling to close deals because you're struggling to create relationships. And in B2B, in business to business, it is entirely about relationships. It is entirely about relationships. And even this morning, I wrote an article on LinkedIn about ChatGPT being makeup for your brain, which I think is, you know, obviously this is coming from myself, but I think it's cool. I think it's a good way of saying it. That ChatGPT is makeup for your brain. And that people are craving natural beauty. They are craving natural beauty and natural words and authority and inputs and conversations. That people are getting sick and tired of ChatGPT, of this slop, of these outputs that are just repetitive garbage. And if I see another article on LinkedIn that's made with ChatGPT, I am going to freak out. So don't be afraid of being yourself. Don't be afraid of being yourself. Okay? Some of the greatest athletes out there, artists, musicians, they are all themselves. Some of the greatest entrepreneurs, they are brutally themselves. And your vibe attracts your tribe. Whatever vibe you put out ultimately determines who it is that comes to you looking for an answer, looking for a solution. So you need to be yourself. And I know for me, my girlfriend and my dad have this joke about me. They say that I'm too serious. They're always like, oh, do you think Ben's too serious? Or do you think that Ben's quite stern, quite, and I come across that way. I can be aggressive, but it's actually a feeling of passion. And I'm not sure if it is communicated that way, but it's a deep sense of passion. I love business. I love competition. I love improving. I love performing and delivering an incredible service. you know. And yesterday, for example, or this week, I spoke to one of my accounting clients, and she was like, Ben, this is a game changer for my business. She was previously relying on cold calling and cold emailing, and she got her firm to 350,000 Rand per month, and then she sold that firm. Okay? And she's starting over, but she recognizes that cold calling and cold emailing isn't working. And one of the reasons it isn't working is because there's no trust. So we started running ads for her, and she's now closing clients, she's booking calls, and we're making some tweaks to her campaign to get her better results. But ultimately, I'm so chuffed about the progress that she's been making. It's incredible, the progress that she's been making. And yeah, even today, I'm busy onboarding a fractional CFO in manufacturing, and I'm being pushy with him. I'm saying, dude, send me the videos. I scripted them out for him. I helped him. I'm going to help him with like editing them, touching them up, but he needs to record it. It's his business. He needs to be the one to put his face out there and put his words out there, put his spin on things, and get his name out there, so that when business owners see him, they're like, I want to work with that guy, you know? And maybe you're thinking, but Ben, accounting is saturated. You know, I can't stand up because there's so many accountants and not enough businesses. And the analogy that I always like to use, and I know it's a bit crude, is how many divorces are there per year? There's a lot. There's millions, maybe even tens of millions, maybe even, sadly, maybe even tens of millions and hundreds of millions of divorces every single year. Okay? And the reason that happens is because people become unhappy and they don't want to commit, and maybe they made a poor decision around that divorce, or maybe something happened in the relationship, right? And if we think about accounting, it's the same thing, right? It's a commitment. It's a monthly commitment where you guys are in each other's space, you're in each other's finances and books. But sometimes people become unhappy, and then they start looking around. And if they start looking around and they see your face and they're like, wow, I want to work with you. I want to work with that guy because he's posting content. I see him on my feed. He sounds well spoken. He's got a great sense of humor. He looks easy to work with, and it looks like he's speaking to me. I want to work with him. That is how you stand out. And now what happens is that person becomes unhappy with their current accountant, and the first person they go to is you. So that is how you stand out. Post content, make sure that your name is searchable. When someone searches your name, they need to see who you are, what you do, who you help, and how it works. Be searchable. And once you're searchable, run ads. Run ads, post content. I recommend starting with Instagram and Facebook. You can also do YouTube and TikTok, but Instagram and Facebook are a great place to start because you can just post super short, filming yourself in your car, talking about problems that you solve and answering questions. But that's everything for today. I'm going to go pour another coffee. I've got some client work to do. And thank you for joining me. I really, really appreciate you joining for this video. It was great speaking with you. And if you want to work with me, you can check out the link in the description. If it makes sense for your business and you want us to help you book consultations with paid ads and build your authority funnel, we can do that 100% and get you incredible results like we have for all of our clients. So my name is Ben. You stay blessed, and bye for now. This is the end of the video. If you want to watch another video, I'll also throw up another video on the screen that you can take a look at. It will be recommended by YouTube, and it'll probably be a good one that will also help you out a ton. Bye for now, and you stay blessed. Bye.